My name is Joshua Stafford, and I am the Director of Sacred Music and the Jacobsen Chair Chautauqua Organist. This organ at Chautauqua is used virtually every day of the season. So the organ plays for 7 services every week. In addition to concerts, just last night I played with the Chautauqua Symphony Orchestra, an organ concerto. This organ is in constant use, and it's really at the heart of Chautauqua. On this tour, you will meet Charlie Kegg, who takes care of the organ. The organ's tuned usually once per season, so it takes roughly 3 to 4 days of time right before the season opens to get the organ in shape for the season. And then once in a while, we get a little bit of a touch-up tuning during the season.
We are now in the lowest level of the Massey Memorial organ. We're under the level where most of the organ pipes live, and this is where many of the mechanics live. Tuning is done on a routine basis for this organ, at least at the beginning of every season. One of the unusual aspects of this particular organ is its venue in which it sits. The amphitheater is not climate controlled in any way, and the organ sits in a relatively contained space with large garage doors that can protect it in the winter, but it has no climate control, and pipe organs are dramatically affected by temperature. So this organ has to operate from 50 degrees to perhaps 90 degrees plus, and its tuning will vary wildly during those times. We do our best to tune for the Chautauqua season as close to the opening as we can in order for the tuning to be as stable as possible. This organ is known in the organ world for being one of the few amphitheater organs that is in regular use and is so successful in what it does. While the majority of the organ pipes are above my head where I'm speaking and are much smaller, the very largest pipes of the organ are at this level because they are so big. And the largest pipes in the organ are these gray pipes behind me. The one on the bottom is the largest pipe in the organ. It's over 32 feet long, and one could easily crawl in the end of it. It's that large. They also each require a great deal of air. You'll see that each pipe has a 4-inch air line feeding it. We spoke of the air regulators before. This is a typical air regulator, and when I trigger this pipe, the second one from the bottom, you'll watch this air regulator move, and it's making sure the air pressure stays stable. You may or may not be able to tell that pipe is playing because it's a very low pitch, but these are the pipes whose sound you mostly feel rather than hear in the room when they play, and it gives the really big, deep bass of the organ. We are now in the upper level of the organ where the majority of the pipes exist. And you'll see behind me one section of these pipes, of which there are many. The organ contains 5,640 pipes and 94 ranks. And a rank is a set of pipes generally represented by a single stop on the organ. The pipes, as you can see, are metal and wood mixed. Depending on the tone color, the construction changes for whatever kind of sound that we're after in the organ. And the myriad of sounds that this organ can produce is a result of all these different construction styles and sizes of the pipes. Tuning, many people ask, how is the organ tuned? And any pipe is tuned by changing its length. And you can see devices behind me. These are tuning slides that slide up and down to change the length of the pipe, and we tap these very gently up and down as we tune. Some pipes have a scroll, a metal piece that rolls over the top to change the pitch. Some have a stopper like a slide whistle in them. And you can see behind me the facade of the organ. What you normally see from the front, we are now seeing from behind, and they have these metal scrolls as well to change the length of the pipe. The facade pipes are not false. Almost all of them are genuine speaking pipes and represent the bases of several of the stops in the organ. Here we have one of the smaller pipes, and you can see it up close. Most of the pipes work like a whistle. There are no moving parts. It literally works like a police whistle, but with a different top on it. The air comes in at the bottom, and it comes out this slot over the upper lip and sets the pipe into vibration, making the sound you hear. And they just sit in the wind chest by gravity. Other pipes have reeds in them, brass reed tongue, very much like a clarinet or a saxophone, but made out of brass. And these pipes are used to get the bright, fiery, exciting sounds of the organ, generally speaking. About 15% of the pipes will have reeds in them. The rest of the pipes are what we call flue pipes, which again work like a whistle. Regardless of the type of pipe, the tuning operation is essentially the same. While I do have an electronic tuning device that I use for reference occasionally, the vast majority of the tuning is done by ear because it's very much quicker. And I have Mr. Stafford at the console to hold keys for me, and I'm going to show you how we tune a pipe. That is our reference pipe. It is in tune. And now we're going to add a pipe that is not in tune, and you'll hear me tune it, and you'll hear the interference beats go away, and I'm looking for no interference beats at all. Okay? Okay? And that's how we tune, one note at a time throughout the organ. There are 61 pipes for each stop on the organ, representing the 61 keys for each keyboard. And you multiply that up, 61 pipes for every stop, for every keyboard, is where we get so many pipes, over 5,000. Many of the pipes in the organ are unenclosed. That is to say, the pipes always speak the same volume according to the ears of the listener. In order to have volume control over the organ, we take some sections of the organ and put them inside a box. And we are now inside the choir box. The choir is the bottom keyboard of the organ. And one of the volume pedals are on the organ, or we call them swell pedals, is attached to these swell shades behind me. These swell shades are opening and closing a wall of wood in front of the pipes. The pipes never change, but we open and close this wall in front of them to make them appear to change to the listener. And Mr. Stafford is going to now close this volume pedal with his foot. And you see them go closed. This would make the pipes within this space quieter. And when he opens them, it gets louder. That's how we control the volume of the organ for certain sections of the organ. People frequently ask the difference between an organ and a piano. Many people think they are similar. Other than the keyboard, the organ and the piano are remarkably different instruments. A piano is a percussion instrument and operates by hammers that hit strings that are stretched tight over a soundboard. The organ is a wind instrument. And surprise to many people, the organ is the oldest known keyboard instrument and goes back in history well over 2,000 years. At the time of Christ, there were instruments existing that would look unusual to a modern eye, but you would know that they were a pipe organ. The organ is very, very old, whereas the piano, by contrast, is only about 300 years old.
So I think what I love about the Massey organ is just the variety of color that it has. So it can make any sound you want it to make, and every sound on this organ is really beautiful, and it does such a great job of filling this room and of fulfilling all the roles it has to play. From accompanying a choir, to playing organ solo literature, to accompanying silent films, to working with an orchestra, to leading a congregation of several thousand people, or even just playing Happy Birthday to Chautauqua on Old First Night. Thank you for joining us for this tour of the Massey Memorial Organ at Chautauqua. I hope that you will come and visit us in person and come and enjoy the glorious sounds of the Massey organ here in the Chautauqua Amphitheater.
CHQ Assembly is made possible through the collaboration and innovation of Chautauqua Institution's full-time and part-time staff, seasonal staff, and many volunteers, as well as participants like you, whose engagement, gifts, and subscriptions sustain our mission.